Hello everyone, right, I'm back. Obviously woke up this morning to the lovely news that Theresa May, the complete and utter unelected idiot, we're going to do strategic bombing strikes in Syria. I'm completely opposed to it, along with probably 99% of you and the rest of my country and the United Kingdom and the world. The information that we have at the moment, or that I have at the moment, we've got an American fleet of warships about 10 days away from Syria, travelling through the Atlantic Ocean to the Mediterranean Sea. They're going to be doing port patrols and bombing and strategic attacks. But Tartus, for example, or Tartus, which is one of the biggest, if not the biggest port of Syria, and busiest port of Syria, is currently in full occupation and controlled by the Russians. It's got a small Russian fleet there. It's fully secure already. Same with most of the Syrian air bases. They are under Russian control. ISIS is nearly dead. Assad has been doing well to try and bring his country back up from the regime that's been going on for the last God knows how many years. But we're still going to bomb the fuck out of them anyway, pardon my language. So in 10 days, the Americans are going to arrive, and we'll see if they start attacking Tartus or not. Theresa May's statement, it's in Britain's national interest. No, it's not. It's not in Britain's national interest for you to bomb another third world country, well, borderline third world country. So it's all to do with Israel. What don't like ISIS because what's going on, some chemical weapons attack. But even though there's a chemical weapons attack technically in England when that Russian spy got assassinated and his daughter survived, that's kind of been swept under the rug now. So France is joining us with a bombing airstrikes with the UK, while the Americans are sending a fleet of warships and I think an aircraft carrier there as well, to prevent movement of chemical weapons and weapons of mass destruction, which we all heard that last time. The chemical weapons and weapons of mass destruction did not exist. Everything's under full control of the Russians over there, so if we bomb any of these targets, the strategic targets like air bases, airports, shipping ports, we're bombing Russian occupied space within Syria, which means technically it's an act of war against Syria. I'm against it. Theresa May, you're not my prime minister. You were unelected. We didn't have a referendum when David Cameron stepped down because you were supposed to stand in temporarily, which we need. You do not speak for and are not the voice of the people of the United Kingdom, Theresa May. You're a terrible, terrible, cowardly wench and a parasite. As I think the royal family are, and most political members of parliament are as well. This apparently war as well is going to cost the UK taxpayer £1.5 billion again. Where's this money coming from? We have a £350 million a year NHS to pay for, which didn't go when we left Brexit, which we got told we were going to pay for, which didn't get paid for. So where's this £1.5 billion worth of taxpayers' money coming from in this UK to bomb another country in the Middle East again, like we always do? Syria, Libya, Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan. Are we just going to keep bombing Middle Eastern countries until there's no way left? With oil that doesn't want the International Monetary Fund controlling it, or the United States dollar as its international currency? Absolutely, absolutely ridiculous. It's horrific news, and I don't know why we are doing this. It's more like a dictatorship than a democracy, because this was not a voted thing. 99% of the population do not want this to happen. But we're going to do it anyway, and Theresa May's going to go and bomb another country in Britain's national interest. Because apparently, even though everything's doing well and Syria was building up, Assad decided to do a chemical weapons attack on his own people, killing 75 women and children, men, women and children. It's not making sense. That's bullshit. When everything's going good in your country, you've just destroyed the terrorist regime that's trying to take over your country, and a near genocide has been prevented. You're not going to do that and just swing everything around. It's the most ridiculous. It's just a ploy. It's all over oil, the IMF money, the International Money Fund, the international dollar, and the international banking. It's another cartel scheme, and thousands of people, tens of thousands, possibly hundreds of thousands of innocent civilians are going to die when it's bombed, that Syria's bombed the shit out of by the Americans, France and the British, to protect innocent civilians from dying. So I don't know how bombing loads of innocent people, which is going to happen, even though they're saying it's not, the strategic targets. Last time the strategic targets were blown up, schools, hospitals, funerals, all got strategic targets that needed to be bombed. Why? I don't know the answer to that question. I'm just pointing the question out. Same thing's probably going to happen again, and not I can tell the future, we don't know, but it looks like it. It's absolutely atrocious. Theresa May, You horrible, pathetic wench. Not in my name. Hashtag not Syria. Hashtag not my Prime Minister. You should have stepped down long ago, and we need an independent referendum. We should have done an independent referendum before going to war, when my money pays for it. Not hers, but your money and my money are going to pay for it. So does that make us, because we're paying for it, partially responsible for the deaths of innocent people that's going to happen in Syria soon? I think it probably does make us partially responsible. But how do we all group away and say we're not giving you any more money to fund illegal wars as a society, as in the United Kingdom? Let the Americans and French do whatever they want. I can't control them. I'm talking about the United Kingdom, us, and where I live, where we live. So yeah, it's a sickening act of war and sickening behaviour, and really sad news to wake up to. So let's see how this plays out when Theresa May, the idiot, brings us in possibly another war with the Russians and possibly the Chinese and possibly the North Koreans. So it'll be the Americans, French, and the English or the United Kingdom with whatever allies we've got against the Russians, the Chinese, and possibly the North Koreans, who may well use this to take advantage of the situation with the distraction with South Korea as well. So we'll see how this goes. But we're the closest at war World War III, or a new world war. We're the closest we've ever been to a new world war since Hitler invaded Poland in 1939. That's how close it is. It's not something that can be taken lightly to the magnitude of the events that are about to unfold. Completely against it, completely against the killing of innocent human lives, which is going to happen. But loss of life for collateral damage for international national security seems to be okay. You can't condone someone for killing people for one reason, then we're going to go in there and kill people for a different reason. Kill the same people, but it's going to be okay for us to do it for the Western world and for Theresa May and for Donald Trump, and it's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous, preposterous. Get rid of Theresa May. She needs to be ousted out. Get rid of the Conservative Party. Get rid of the MPs. The last honest person who ever entered Parliament was Guy Fawkes. We'll see how these events unfold. Have a nice weekend.